Business solutions are found today in Google Glass, Samsung Gear products, LG Watch, and many other wearables, including basketballs, tennis rackets, etc. Sam's job is to understand what the market trends are that require technical specifications and to drive his engineering team to deliver the products. Welcome, Sam. You're all wired up.
Can everyone hear me? Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sam Massih, and like Danny said, today what I'm going to talk about is really from a sensor perspective. InventSense, we're a MEMS sensor platform company. From a sensor perspective, where is this wearable market going? What are the trends? And what are the solutions that we're going to provide to intersect those trends? And that's really my job, to understand all that. Quickly about InventSense, I guess we were a startup 11 years ago. Good sized company now, 450 people, lots of cash, good stock price. We're really in a good position right now to penetrate this wearable market. And I think the message I want to send about InventSense is, you'll see by the end of this talk, we're not just a sensor company. This is what I hope you take away from it. You'll see that we're penetrated into, I think they say 80% of all Android mobile phones today. 80%, that's pretty high. The Korean customers, they love us. We're 9 out of 10 mobile manufacturers. I won't mention who that 10th is. And then the wearable market, OIS market, these are markets that are growing right now. As they grow, we'll think we'll grow. And today, specifically, we're going to talk about wearables. Okay, so this is a 30,000-foot level shot, meaning I'm going to dig deep into each of these areas. Let's talk about the market. It's a fast-growing market. There's finally an inflection point here, right? It's finally taking off. Let's try to understand why it's finally taking off. We'll talk about the customers in this market. It's quite strange, actually. It started with the health and fitness companies like the Nike, Adidas, Fitbit. It makes sense, right? They track your health. They track your wellness. Then the mobile customers got into this game. So Samsung, LG, Sony, they said, hey, we might have an advantage here because we have a mobile. Maybe we can make a companion device. That was their strategy. The data companies are getting into this. Google, Qihoo 360, Tencent, Qihoo, we know them pretty well. They're making wearables for $10. They're going to sell them for $10, put them on you. All they want to do is collect your data. It's a service company, probably as you know in this room here. It's a service company, so they just want your data to push back services. Interesting business model. Then the customer base gets really strange, in my opinion. Banks, Bank of America, Chase Bank, they want to get into this game because they want to have a wearable to help you log into your account. It's a level of authentication, okay? Telecom companies, people like SoftBank, Verizon, they're saying, well, I have a hard retail store that I bring my customers to, and I'm selling them Samsung Gear and Fitbit. Why don't I make my own wearables and collect my customers' data? Payment companies, they have a service. They would deploy it today on the internet. They want to provide this service of payment through a wearable. Imagine going up to Starbucks and just paying with your watch, right? So you see, everybody has a different angle. And lucky for us at InventSense, the common feature among all this group of customers that I just talked through, health and fitness tracking is a big deal. Okay? This is the reason why you're going to convince your customer to wear your device all day long. Think about it. From a payment perspective, you only pay a couple times a day. You only log into your bank once a day. So the health and fitness is the reason that you're going to drive your customer to keep this on all day long. And for us at InventSense, motion tracking, that's a big deal for health and fitness. And in fact, we're not just providing the basic accelerometer and gyro sensor. we're actually changing the paradigm, okay? We're gonna talk about how today it's about pedometer and step counting, and with our smart sensors, we're gonna be able to do a lot more things, okay? We're gonna identify your activity. So we don't stop there, okay? We don't just give a good idea. Hey, use our Excel gyro compass sensors and track activity. No, we're actually providing also the total system solution. We have algorithms, automatic activity recognition. This library that runs on your MCU will actually detect, look at our sensor data, detect what activity you're doing with very high accuracy. And we don't even stop there. We told ourselves about a year ago, I told my management, hey, you know, there's a lot of customers in this space that really don't know what they're doing. You know, Samsung does, right? They're a hardware company. Google does. They have the resources to pull together hardware and software resources. But there's a lot of customers we can help. What if we do this complete turnkey solution? Let's optimize it for power and size, give it to our customers, and the selfish point from InventSense is, hey, it will help them get to market faster, allowing us to sell more sensors. Okay, so I'll talk about this complete turnkey solution that we developed, available to our customers for free. Okay, so the market's finally taking off, right? 2014. What's happened, right? Let's look at the last couple of years. I think one of the big drivers has been sensors, right? The S5 is a great example of this. The S5 has, I think, 7 sensors. It has ambient light sensor, touch sensor, temp, humidity, pressure, motion, heart rate monitor. There's one more, can't remember it right now. So these sensors are being shipped in 100 million units, driving the cost down, allowing low volume platforms like a watch, like a head mount display, to use this at a good price. BLE. 3 years ago, BLE wasn't around, right? The idea for these wearables is to collect data. I hope you capture that from my presentation here. It's meant to collect data about that person, but the data cannot reside on the watch. It cannot reside on the pedometer. It has to be transferred to your mobile phone, and the BLE connectivity standard allows this to happen in a very low power way. Once it's on that phone, Calvin just talked about octa-cores in mobile phones. So there's basically infinite capacity for processing. So the data gets transferred to the phone, it gets viewed in the app, and the rest of the data goes up to the cloud. So I'm going to talk about the cloud a lot today. The cloud is why all this investment is happening. Maybe you could ask our keynote speakers about this. The cloud, this whole business model is about collecting data, understanding what you're seeing, and pushing back services back to that user. And we'll talk about how InventSense is actually helping this model come to fruition. We've been very lucky so far. Luck meaning we have the best device on the market in terms of power, performance, and size. Okay, so we're seeing our sensors being adopted in many different types of wearable applications, like a basketball, InfoMotion, shot tracker. They're putting 6 and 9 axis products into their basketballs, and they could count the number of dribbles per minute. What is the rotation of the ball when you release it? What is the trajectory of the basketball as it goes through the basket? And their app is taking this streaming data and providing coaching in real time. Okay? These are real nice products. I think InfoMotion is selling this product, a $300 basketball at the Apple store. Google Glass is using us for gesture control. They have this look-up gesture where when you do something like this, it brings up a certain menu. I think like the weather, date, time, something like that. Very successful in Korea. The Samsung Gear 1, the Gear 2, the Gear Fit, the Gear Neo. Recently they released the Gear Live. LG released the LG G Watch. All these smartwatch type products are using our sensors. Oculus Rift is using our sensors. The HMD in Japan, Sony and Epson is using our gestures for panoramic viewing. Some smaller niche wearable type products. Logbar has a ring. They're a Japanese company. they're using is for gesture control in the home. This is an up-and-coming area here. It's motion analysis, sports analysis. What they're doing is building these real small modules. I don't think the hardware is that challenging. It's an MCU, it's a BLE, it's some sensors in a really small package. And they connect these to different club sports. So things like a tennis racket, a golf club, a cricket bat. And what they're doing is analyzing that single motion, okay? And they're comparing it to a Tiger Woods tee off. So there's lots of companies focused in this area right now. Okay, so to understand what we're doing at InventSense, let's talk about the business model. A couple years ago, we had a new CEO. InventSense a couple years ago was a real leader in sensor platforms. Okay? We have this patented processes and fab allowing us to have higher reliability, less noise, lower power sensors than our competitors. He came in and gave us really a different look. He said, guys, when you talk to your customers, understand the model. What is it they're really trying to do? It's not to design in a sensor. That's not the most important decision in a product. What is their big picture? If we can understand the big picture, we can understand where we can add value, okay? So with the wearable market, I took that as a challenge. So here's my vision of this, okay? So in InventSense, we're selling sensor systems on a chip, SSOC, okay? It goes into a piece of hardware, a watch, a head mount display. This device is on a person, it's a wearable. It collects data. This data cannot reside here, like I said. It has to be transferred to your mobile app, okay? The app gives you some view of this data. How many steps did I walk today? How close am I to my goal? What is the competition with my friends, right? This is the app that you see. The rest of the data goes up to the cloud, okay? In the cloud, they collect my data, your data, your data, your data. They aggregate data across all their users, business intelligence, business analytics. They push back services. This is the real play here, okay? Fitbit and Nike, they're really happy that they sell a $100, $150 piece of hardware, but they're really sad after 30 days or whatever it is, 3 months, when their user stops using that product because they just lost all their data, okay? So we looked at that problem, we said, where can we add value? Okay, we can give them a really low power sensor system, or we could do more. So you'll see in the next couple slides, we're going to help our customers, okay, the OEMs, making these products. We're going to help them make a better product. You understand what I mean by that? We're also helping them build a better cloud, a cloud that they can monetize, okay? What is an example of a service? I get that question quite a bit. Not all the companies around the world are savvy to this yet, right? Some are just building really nice pieces of hardware and they stop there, okay? So example of a service is something like this. I see this model actually. Sorry, let me try to adjust this. I see this model with small companies, kind of successful. I don't think they'll become mainstream because they're too small. One's in France, one's in Dubai. So these companies, Gianote and Tupelo, they're selling all these different pieces of hardware, whether they design it themselves or they ODM it through somebody else with their label. So they sell the heart rate monitor strap, they sell the weight scale, the pedometer, activity tracker, the smartwatch, the blood glucose meter, the pressure monitor. They sell them all to me, to one person. They try to at least. And they're collecting all these different pieces of data about my health and wellness, right? And what they're doing, they put all this data in the cloud, okay? And they work with, health insurance companies, healthcare companies, hospitals, and they monetize it like that, right? They sell these pieces for real cheap, and they make their money out here. Okay, this is an example of the real wearable market business model right here. Okay, so like I said, these are small companies, but I think Jack's slides talked about this quickly. You see the big guys, they're building a cloud. Google Fit, Apple Health Kit, Samsung, Sammy, they call it. Microsoft has something like this. Today, what data are they collecting into their clouds? It's simple data, okay? It's step counting data. Now with the new products, now they have heart rate monitor data, okay? But I think over time, you're gonna see it play like this, okay? To really grab this ecosystem, to really become valuable in the health, you need lots of different types of data. And not one piece will ever deliver it to you, right? Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that. Let me talk about InventSense shortly here before I get back into the business model and how we're helping our customers monetize all this. InventSense, like I said, we're a system on a chip, sensor system on a chip company. Okay, what does that mean? That means we provide multi-sensors in one single monolithic die. That's our key advantage. We have a very patented fabrication process where we fuse the CMOS wafer with the MEMS wafer. Nobody else can do this. Okay, we're not using wire bonds. Our competitors, our friends over there at ST Micro and Bosch, they're using wire bonds to fuse this together. Wire bonds creates things like more noise, higher power, higher Z axis on the package. There's not a lot of challenge out there that we have the better sensors, but we don't stop there. So we put multi-sensors on a single monolithic die. That's what I'm trying to explain here. So we have Excel plus gyro at 6 axis. We added compass, that's a 9 axis. Later this year, we'll add the 10th axis, pressure sensor, barometer. Okay? All this on a single monolithic die. But we don't stop there. We have something on board called a DMP, Digital Motion Processor. It's essentially a DSP. A DSP is really good at very low power functions that are well defined. Okay? So we defined our DSP for sensor fusion, sensor calibration. In the future, we'll add more functions to this. So we're not just giving raw sensor data to the MCU like our competitors. We're actually doing processing on board, calculating that quaternion. Quaternion is what's needed for 3D orientation tracking. Okay, we're doing this on chip, not in the system. We're doing this at less than 200 microamps with our newest products. Okay, that's why I have more laser sensors. But we don't stop there. Okay, we actually provide algorithms on top of this, and that's what I'm going to talk about. So for us, for me, to convince my management, hey guys, I need resources in this and this and this type of technologies, I have to give them a vision of, well, here is where the market's going and this is where we need to attack. Okay, so I describe this to them, the holy grail, right? This is not a religious lesson. It is what is the perfect product for a wearable? Okay? What is the features of the perfect wearable? Because today it doesn't exist on the market. Okay? So I have a vision because I am in a very unique position where I talk to the smallest wearable customer to the biggest wearable customer in the world, and everybody in between, quite often. Okay, so I see where the capabilities are, where the technologies are. Okay, so this is really my vision. The wearable product has to have fitness tracking, health and fitness tracking. Okay, today it's pedometer. In the future, it's going to be activity recognition. There's no doubt. Okay. If you're a mobile customer and you have a wearable like the Samsung Gear, you have to have smartphone notifications. Okay. Health and biometrics. This device, the big play, like the keynote speakers were talking about, is in the health and medical field. It really is. To do that, you have to track as many vital signs as possible. Okay. Today it's heart rate monitor. In the future, it's pretty obvious. Things like glucose and blood pressure are coming up around the corner. Payments. This is very important. Okay. The problem with all the products today in the market, the usage case is what's driving me to wear this? What's driving me to buy this? It's not super compelling. Okay. It counts my steps. Okay. And no one disagrees. After 3 months, you know how many steps you're going to walk, right? This is a very unique area with the NFC technology provided by people like NXP or TI. Walking up to Starbucks, ordering coffee, and making a payment is a pretty cool idea. Okay, I see that coming around the corner. And then the IoT, more usage cases, right? Imagine walking into your house, into your living room, say on TV. Your TV turns on because of the BLE connection. It knows it's me. It brings up my favorite menu of channels. Okay, and I go like this. I select a channel like this or like this. I change the volume like this. Very, very doable with actually motion sensors and a connectivity standard. So the perfect product's right in the middle there. I think my job, I don't tell our customers what to make. Okay, that's not my job. My job is to really deliver different pieces of technology to our customers. They'll put them together in what they see as the perfect product, right? And at InventSense, we're focused on inertial health and fitness tracking, gesture control, gesture authentication, things related to the products that we sell around motion, pressure, audio, right? Okay, so I should mention, So this stuff's under construction, this stuff's under construction. I'm going to talk about this next couple slides, okay? So, what is our value proposition today to this market? Accelerometers are very low power. There's 15 vendors out there, so you can beat them up over price. They can count steps relatively good with a simple algorithm. Okay, so that's what you see in the marketplace. Okay, every single product has a pedometer function. Okay, so InventSense comes around and says, hey, why don't you use my smarter sensors, Excel plus gyro. This combination of sensor data with a very smart algorithm, we could detect things like biking, rowing, walking, running. I'm going to show you a video here. I'm telling the truth, I'm not making this up. So this is how we're helping our customers make a better product, better piece of hardware, something that has a stronger usage case. Giving feedback to your user around activity is much more useful than around pedometer. Okay? And now, here's the cloud play for us, right? Today, all these guys using accelerometers are collecting how many steps you take in the cloud. So how do you monetize steps? That's up for discussion. Maybe you can, Nike knows how many steps you're taking. They could send you a shoe coupon when they realize your shoe might be worn out. Maybe. At InventSense, we can identify all these different activities, imagining building services and access to your customers, knowing what they're actually interested in. What are they doing? We have a gym rat here. We have someone that enjoys swimming or biking. Imagine the services you know around that. You have detailed information about your user. This is our play for the cloud. We can make your cloud better. Okay. If we look at the market trend, the market trend's only been, 2.5, 3 years? First generation products, accelerometer only, counting steps, right? Then you saw late last year, Fitbit, Omron got a little smarter. They said, a lot of my users complain to us that they're not getting credit for walking up the stairs. At the office building, they purposely avoid the elevator. They take the stairs to get more steps in. But the energy for stairs is much different than walking a flat surface, right? So they added the pressure sensor. The pressure sensor has a 10 centimeter resolution. Okay? With that, you know how many stairs people are walking. So my point is these devices are getting smarter. Okay? You'll see later this year, the gyros being added. The big gyro usage case today is activity tracking. Okay? Knowing the acceleration of a person, of a motion, as well as the angle, together with a smart algorithm, with high confidence, 95% or so, what activity they're doing. That's what the gyro is good for. The smartwatch has a different, I think, responsibility. Health and fitness is one piece of it. Biometric tracking, wearable payments, what I mentioned earlier. A lot more sensors are needed for a smartwatch type product. Okay, so we have ideas, we actually have solutions. Sensor platforms and algorithms. We have released back in March, AAR library, automatic activity recognition, walk, run, bike, no motion, sleep tracking. Okay? Maybe we could watch a video? Okay, so our friend here, he's wearing on the wrist our turnkey solution. It's a fitness band form factor, so imagine that. He's wearing it on his wrist and he starts boxing. Okay, with a BLE connection, we're streaming the data to the phone. In fact, it should be noted, the activity decision is actually being done on the MCU on his wrist. The only data we're streaming to the phone is the activity update. Okay, very, very small piece of data. Okay, so not only are we recognizing that he's boxing, we know how many punches he took too, right? Now he's doing a different activity, standing. So we have to identify the new activity, standing. So now he's on the elliptical, same thing. He's wearing it right there on his right wrist, our turnkey solution. And so we chose an approach where, hey, we want to track your activity over a 24-hour period. Okay, that's the approach we took. It's not for elite athletes. So over a 24-hour period, we said, let's have high confidence of activity versus transition time, activity detection time. So around 20 seconds or so is how long it takes us to identify a new activity. So the persistent activity, getting up and walking over here and sitting down, I'm not going to identify because you didn't do it long enough to matter over a 24-hour period. Okay. So now he's standing and should be standing. Okay. Yeah, I can move it up, so for the sake of time, I know where to. So we're identifying the elliptical machine in two positions, right? The moving hands and the stationary position. We're looking at wrist motion data, that's all we're looking at. Okay, so we can do that. Let's see, for the sake of time here. Okay. So we're doing walking, running. Okay. Okay, here's an interesting one. The rowing machine. And I want to show you one more after this. The feedback I get out there is, hey, I want credit. Give me credit, whether it's walking stairs or on the elliptical machine or the rowing machine. Give me credit for what I'm doing. If you're really watching my health and fitness, you want to calculate my calorie, it's important to identify as many activities as possible. So that's why we're doing this. Okay. The last one I think is really neat. Okay. I guess we could jump rope too. Okay. Yeah. So this is really important. Biking is walk, run, bike is like the most 3 common activities apparently. We're identifying biking just from your wrist motion. All the other solutions today with bike detection is related to a sensor on your shoe. Okay? So we're identifying biking on your wrist. The gyro sensor, very important. Okay. Okay, so just a few more slides. So the roadmap for this automatic activity recognition. Today, we're available is these 5 activities. Coming up, I guess, Q3, we'll have these gym activities that I just shared with you. In the future, this algorithm, the system solution, is going to look at other sensors in the system. It doesn't have to be our sensor. Give us access to the HRM through an API. Give us access to the audio microphone through an API. We'll look at different sensors, help us with higher accuracy detect these activities, and in fact detect new activities. Okay? We probably don't need to talk about this. Okay, so for you startup type customers that don't have access to a big hardware team or a big algorithm team, okay, we provided a complete turnkey solution. What I mean by complete turnkey solution is a 55 milliamp hour battery is providing almost 6 days of battery life with this design. So we optimized it for power, we optimized it for cost. Okay? So it includes the MCU, includes the BLE, includes pressure and motion sensors. Okay? So what you get from us for free, it's important to note that, is a complete hardware solution, Gerber, schematic, layout, BOM, even the X and Y coordinates for the pick and place machine. Okay? From the software side, you get the AR library, you get the embedded software that communicates with all these different components and manages the MCU sleep time, the gyro on time. You get that in open source, in fact. So the idea here is you don't want to make the same product we did, right? This is the building block. This is the building block to any wrist-worn wearable device. So you differentiate on top of that, right? You add your heart rate monitor, you add a display, you add a UV sensor, you add some other sensor that you want to monitor. But this is the basic building block of any hardware, of any wearable device, okay? We want to enable the market, help you get to market faster so we can sell more sensors, okay? And I should mention, we've actually, like I said, we try to think a lot higher, a lot bigger than just a sensor, okay? We've enabled our ecosystem. We have Ocean Leap in play. Like I said, a lot of companies I deal with are just building hardware. They're collecting data, but no idea what to do with it. So we've actually empowered Ocean Leap, who's a small company themselves, to work with us, work with our customers to help them bring a cloud platform into play. And what they offer their customers is a mobile app SDK. You could change the skin, you could change a lot of things about it, make it yours very quickly. They provide the server backbone, they provide the business analytics and the business intelligence. Okay? So like I said, we're trying to play in that entire pyramid that I showed earlier. That's it.